From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning here on Mornings LA with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over your monthly stimulus check the Democrats still want you to have and why you may be getting more months of checks. Then we cut to the fourth stimulus recon, where the checks allegedly are located and why you may be getting, and in fact are getting, a lot of other sums of money on top of that. Then we turn to the voting process, the bills, and everything you want to know, the breaking news about Chuck Schumer's letter late yesterday, and everything that's going on with the president with the voting process as well. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, and yes, Commissioner Saul fired by the president. But does this impact the fifth stimulus raising up of your benefits this fall? I'll explain. And then we cut to the big money, the thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars that viewers continue to get. It's your day to get this money as well. $10,000 to $20,000, you want to get it, and you want to stay with this video to the very end to find all the incredible details on this big Mornings LALATE. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful day. It's just a little too warm here in Southern California. Hopefully it cools down. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Jump in the live chat right now. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this recording, we'll be going over the fourth stimulus. We'll be going over the monthly stimulus check the Democrats still want you to have and why there may be more months of checks. Then we'll be cutting to the recon, where those checks are allegedly located, and why that recon will be giving you other sums of money, a lot of it. I'll go over what it is and how this is happening. And then we'll cut to the voting process, everything you've been asking about, July 4th, July 15th, the letter from Schumer, the vote, the bills, everything you're asking, everything answered in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the very end. We'll be cutting to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up lifetime, and was the firing of Commissioner Saul on Friday an impact of this or not? I'll explain the details. Then we cut to the big money the viewers continue to get. $23,000 for Nisi, $12,000 for John. I want you to get this big money, $10,000 to $20,000. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning like right now and taped in the afternoons. Next, back with you with Mornings Crypto live on air, followed by noontime live on air. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. The best and only and the most comprehensive financial channel in America. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into the exciting details about that fourth stimulus check starting right now. House bill, Senate proposal, both monthly, but let's go over why this breaking news is changing everything. The House bill is a pandemic plus 1 year stimulus check approach, where there would be a check every month for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senate approach is a July to December monthly check. Let's go over the payouts. House, $1,000 a month after the first month. Senate, unknown monthly, but word on the street is this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Wow. Now, things have been moving very quickly and by the minute. That's why you got to stay with this channel. It was a week ago where we had thought that the pandemic may be considered over by legislators and only giving you, under the House bill, 12 months of checks, $13,000. But then LA changed it all. Don't we always? LA changed it all by announcing the mask mandate is reversed, that we're not out of the pandemic. Then Warren Buffett saying we're not out of the pandemic. Airlines not out of the pandemic. And then finally, this week, it looked like we really are not out of the pandemic, as Japan issues a national emergency, state of emergency, and bans spectators at the Olympic Games. We have China reversing growth. We have the Treasury yields falling, and we have 80% of ICU capacity in the state of Missouri. Well, if that's the case, then the House bill may in fact pay pandemic plus 1 year, which would be a lot big difference than the Senate proposal. The pandemic plus 1 year would pay more than 12 months of checks and would certainly pay more than $13,000. Compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. You see how things just change by the minute. I know my opinion has changed. What do you like? House or Senate? Vote right now. Who gets his fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent everyone who got a third stimulus check will get a fourth. Single individuals, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. They represent 75,000 or less. Married couple, Democrats represent, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check, 150,000 or less. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits. The fourth stimulus check would not be income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for adult dependents and everyone else. And the fourth stimulus check would not be in waves. It would come monthly. So if you do see the check at the pinata shop today, trying to practice with the pinata he wants to buy and just waving at the check with a bat, say, hey, check, how you doing? See, oh, hey, watch out with that bat. Jeez. Unless maybe swing stronger if there's some checks in there. Yeah, it's not a waivable check, and unless it actually hits the pinata and there's some checks in there, then it is a waivable check. The Democrats represent that you would get a check in the month of July for the month of July, in the month of August for the month of August. And while Lee Schumer and Nancy Pelosi said over 1,000 times that the final vote on the recon would be by July 4th, it didn't happen. But I'll explain to you why this is still good news. It's coming up in the third part of this video. In the third part of this video, we go over the vote, the bill, the dates, everything you need to know, and Chuck Schumer's letter from Friday. We'll be cutting in the second part of this video to the recon and why that recon should and may in fact be giving you a lot of other sums of money on top of it. We have confirmation of one. What are the other ones? I'll be going over what you need to do. And stay with me. Stay to the final 15 minutes of this video. Those are the critical minutes of this video, the most comprehensive coverage you're going to see worldwide. But first, let's get a preview of fifth stimulus. Commissioner Saul, head of the Social Security Administration, fired on Friday. But does that impact the reform of SSI under fifth stimulus? I'll explain the details you need to know in the breaking news report today, coming up later in this video. But first, let's get some money. That's what we do on this channel. And boy, I gotta congratulate you. You are doing a superb job. Jump in the live chat right now. If you have gotten a penny from this channel, post it right now. If you've gotten rent, utilities, SNAP, post it right now. Get in that live chat. It inspires me, inspires other people to get the money. And it updates other people about how much money is going on. I have been reporting on this channel that the rent is about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. But boy, I was wrong. Viewers are getting $12,000. What's going on here? What's going on? This is what this channel does. Since day one, I've been getting people money. When the pandemic first hit, I get viewers and people were not getting their EIDLs approved. I started this channel and I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans approved, saving their businesses, their homes, and their employees' homes. But in fall 2020, it looked a lot like now. We were waiting for second stimulus to become a law. It was not passed yet. And viewers needed money. It was the holiday. So I stepped forward and I got viewers $250,000. I saved people's entire holidays. In the case of Tyrone, he got $15,000 for his family of four in Boston, pays all his bills all the way to next year. That's what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to do it for you starting this minute. This is not a channel where I track what day you're getting a stimulus check. Absolutely, categorically not. This is a day in which I go over how you can get fortunes of money right today. And the viewers in this channel have been killing it. Last night, the numbers were insane. Viewers are reporting now that they're getting rent from this channel from watching these videos upwards of $13,000, $12,000 daily, even hourly. And Nisi got $23,000 for this channel. She got $20,000 for rent. She got utilities and internet as well. Art got 3 items. Next, Snap. It's incredible. I was reporting a lot of viewers are getting $5,000 to $6,000 of Snap. Now viewers are getting $12,000 of Snap, like John. Utilities, I was reporting $300 a month for utilities. Viewers are now getting $3,000 for utilities. So how do we do this? Get that pen and paper ready. We're going to go over all the big details about how you get this money. Each place has different eligibility. So if you reach out to one, reach out to the next. Remember, Never take yourself out of the equation. Say, well, I'm a person that has a very plaid green white shirt on. I won't qualify. No, every place has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. They will say yes. Are you ready? We can reach out to different ones starting right now. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. That's where you reach out to. The keywords you say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID. Or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like muddled blue or murdered blue. They don't know those words. I don't know those words. I don't know range of options either. And so there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful pot of money. And congratulations to all the viewers in the live chat right now that may be posting the big monies they've gotten. And everyone last night on Evenings, Afternoons, LALATE. Keep on posting. We're now going to Snap. If you've gotten Snap, post in the live chat right now. Post on an annualized basis. So if you get $500 a month, post the $6,000. John, $12,000 for his family for Snap. He just revealed in the last week. Gail has gotten it. Lynn Glenn has got it for her son, her mom, and as herself as well. What is it? It is money for food. It comes from the Department of Agriculture. And the eligibility is about the same as a stimulus check. Now, if you have problems with paying your bills, but you qualify for a stimulus check and you have not gotten SNAP, what are you doing? You pick up the phone and you get it ASAP. How much does it pay? It pays a fortune. A family of four in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. It is money for your food. You're killing it. I'm so proud of you. $16,000 for SNAP for a family of four in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent, but now you're getting a lot more, $3,000 for utilities, and we're only 11 minutes of this video. We're killing it. And now let's cut to that big money coming back for your states. This is the refund check due to computer error of an overpayment of unemployment benefits. One viewer 2 nights ago got $3,000 in the Evenings LALATE. I was so excited for her. A week earlier, another viewer got $5,000 for this. Where is it coming? It's coming back from your state. What is it? It's the refund check due to overpayment caused by computer error. The federal government has ordered those checks paid to you ASAP. It was not the states to keep the money. So where is it landing? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yeah, reach out to your respective states to say, hey, state, where's that money due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that works this time? And finally, the wonderful refund check from IRS. If you got to this as well, jump in the live chat. I had someone on Evenings LA last night said, has anyone gotten their refund check for IRS this week? That's why it's helpful. Every time that something happens with you, share your information because it helps someone else know where their money is coming. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. What is it? It's the refund check for the taxes on unemployment benefits. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, do a transcript search, and it'll reveal stuff that you never knew and some stuff that you don't want to know. It'll reveal the tax return you file, the taxes you paid, and then it'll reveal, is muddled really a color? It'll reveal, does the teal princess really own anything besides teal? Then it'll reveal the tax return check you're getting. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your big fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. So here we go. The reconciliation had in it too much stuff several weeks ago. Nancy and Chuck and the president and Jalapa were meeting, and the recon had roads and bridges in it at the time, and it was too big. They polled their Democratic caucus. They said, I'm not voting in favor of that thing. It's too big. So 2 Wednesdays ago caused the split. The president, Nancy, Chuck, and Jalapa decided, let's split. Let's take roads and bridges out of this recon and shrink it. And it suddenly shrunk. Roads and bridges taken out and put into what's called the bipartisan. The bipartisan split occurred 2 Wednesdays ago that has roads and bridges in it, and the Americans' people money now in the recon. This split happened 2 weeks ago. Why was this split so wonderful news for you? Number one, before the split, the recon, where your money is, was not passable, meaning if they called it for a vote, it would not pass. They did not have enough Democratic votes in favor of it. Now it's passable. How do we have that confirmation? Even GOP is saying it. In a beautiful op-ed released just days ago, one conservative writer said for a conservative publication, the higher the top line number was for the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. By allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon put into the bipartisan, roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon became smaller. That's easy. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch, shut you up. How does it feel? It's no other way to say it. Does it zing, Mitch? There was nothing to gain for the GOP by blessing the bipartisan because it made the recon now passable. There you go. That's wonderful news. Next, now that the recon was shrunk, then the progressives were able to add a little bit more stuff in there. I'm going to go over what the adding in means and what the stuff is. First, what does the adding in mean? Well, we got confirmation from the progressives that they are adding stuff back in, still keeping it passable. And the Progressive Caucus is meeting with the White House daily, a news report confirms. Second, Representative Ilhan Omar says, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan, the Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it. Wow, that's wonderful news. And finally, Representative Richie Torres, Democrat of New York, says, I refuse to vote for the bipartisan unless the recon is big enough. And he's put in housing. Housing? So what is this housing? And what do you mean adding something in? And how can they do that? Well, let's back up. And here's something important to know is what is a recon? How is it voted on? How is it written? And who's writing it? And how do we see it? First, what is a recon? A recon stands for reconciliation. It's written by Democrats for Democrats, passed by Democrats. Who actually writes it? Subcommittees. Subcommittee of the House, lead writers, House Senate subcommittee, co-writers. When they're writing it, do they show it to us? Generally not. When they're finished writing it, do they show it to us? Generally not. When they call for a vote, do they tell they voted on it? Generally not. There's no requirement on the Constitution for them to do any of that publicly. It's all behind congressional doors. Number two, how do they separate things? Well, separate subcommittees have separate subjects. So House Ways and Means does unemployment and stimulus. Other committees do other subject matters. Number three, it's important to note that later in this video, you're going to see the House subcommittee members of Ways and Means have said they are putting monthly stimulus checks in there. They've never mentioned anything about unemployment, but should they? This week, we have the economic data that says they should. On Thursday, the new jobless claims number was released. If you've been with this channel since day one of March, April 25th last year, you know what Thursday's numbers are. Thursday, we learned that 373,000 people who had a job all throughout the pandemic, worked every day through the pandemic, worked this year as well. Every single day they went to work and got a paycheck, were laid off last week. 373,000 of them. That's a horrible number. It was higher than Wall Street expected on the high end of 350,000. And again, these are people who had a job. These are not people who were already at home. These are people who had a job. They lost it. Second, we had China indicating that its economy slowed in the month of June. Third, we had the Japan state of emergency. Fourth, we had the stock market crashing on Thursday because of economic recovery worries. And then we had the Treasury yields plummeting, and we had the ICU issues about Delta. So there was a lot of very bad employment data last week. So what should that House subcommittee, House and Ways and Means, also do? They should also extend FPUC, PUA, PEUC. And ultimately, you need to push purple power. You need to push. These people can add things in and take things out at any spur of the moment. They can take out a stimulus check at any spur of the moment. They can also add in unemployment at any time of the moment. So you need to push to make sure they keep what's in there and keep on adding stuff in. Mortgage forbearance, student loan debt forgiveness, push to get that added in. And how can they do that? Because of the protection. We have that confirmation from Jalapal and Schatz that the Democrats are protecting the recon. Remember, it's recon for Democrats. The White House considers the progressive priorities in the fourth stimulus recon the president's own priorities. That's wonderful news. How do we get to this wonderful spot? From Jalapal, who had written Schumer a letter weeks ago saying, we need to get a vote on the recon. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the 100-plus House Democrats. Remember, it's 100. That's a lot of people for the final vote that said they will be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon. Wow. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee, the one I just went over with you, wrote the president a letter saying, when we write for stimulus recon, which they do, they said we will be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. Wow, now that's wonderful. They wrote your third stimulus recon check, and they represent they're writing a fifth stimulus recon check for next year as well. Wow, can we top that? We can, as it's now official. There was a ceremonial signature 3 weeks ago about the global minimum corporate tax rate, but this week it became official. Now the global minimum corporate tax rate has now been lifted internationally. This is huge. It's a big achievement for the president for forced stimulus, because now it makes forced stimulus easier to pass. One, the president was worried that if he, in raising corporate taxes and forced stimulus, business may move overseas. Now he doesn't have that problem. So when they're finished writing forced stimulus recon, if it's not finished already, it makes it easier to write it because you don't need this provision about international corporate taxes in there. It's now in the international law. Number two, that it makes it easier to call the vote. Number three, it makes it easier to vote on. And number four, it makes it easier to pass forced stimulus recon. Can we top that? We can. In the third part of this video, we go over everything you've been asking for. The big final 15 minutes of this video are the final 15 minutes you need to stay with Chuck Schumer's new letter. Breaking news about Chuck Schumer's major announcement about forced stimulus recon. Number two, we'll be going over what you need to know about the July 15th, July 14th, the bill, the vote, the dates, what you're seeing, what you're not seeing, what does that mean and what it doesn't mean. We'll be also going over the shocking firing of Commissioner Saul on Friday. What does that mean for fifth stimulus with raising your benefits up, SSI and SSDI? A lot of breaking news, but can we get better than that? We can. We'll also go in the final few minutes of the video, a preview of corporate earnings next week, which give you a big indication of where this economy may be going or not going, because this is huge for stimulus. Corporate earnings are something that impact your stimulus across the board. But is there something even more wonderful than that? Yes, the volunteers. If you've been watching this video and you say, hey, I've been trying to find that rent, LALATE. I'm having problems. Don't worry, I got your back. They got your back. They're salt of the earth. They're viewers just like you who have stepped forward and helped you get money. And viewers last night were praising the volunteers in the live chat. One viewer got $9,800 of rent because of one volunteer. So go do it. Where are the volunteers? In the description of this video. Open the description. You'll see an emoji of a house. Click on that emoji of the house. It'll send you to the community page. It's news.lalate.com/community. They're on the page of the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them, and they'll help you get that beautiful money for rent, utilities, internet, and SNAP. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with the big exciting news about fourth and fifth stimulus. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here on a big morning's broadcast. A lot of breaking news about forced stimulus as Chuck Schumer writes a letter. What does he say about the vote? I'll go over all his comments as well. Commissioner Saul, head of Social Security Administration, fired. I'll go over whether that impacts your benefits. And then we cut to the big vote, the big bill, everything you need to know. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like the video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. It helps in the algorithm ranking, and it helps deliver you a garnish of parsley on the side. And consider becoming a member. The link is on the top of the chat and pinned comment. Stay with this channel. Stay with this video. It'll automatically take you to overnight to morning's crypto live coming up next. And then join me at 11 a.m. for noontime live on this channel. Well, fifth stimulus got a big shocker, but does that shocker have anything to do with you? It was the firing of Commissioner Saul on Friday. The President of the United States fired the Commissioner of the Social Security Administration, but does that impact fifth stimulus, which raises up your SSI with a new SSI reform? This stimulus is that raising up of your benefits, removing the asset limit, adding inflationary benchmark, removing the income exclusion, and removing the marriage penalty. As soon as the news of Commissioner Saul's firing hit, viewers started sending me tons of messages saying, LALATE, talk about Commissioner Saul, talk about Commissioner Saul. Here is what you need to know. It means nothing to your benefits at all. And in fact, it means nothing to fifth stimulus additionally. Here's what you need to know, is that Commissioner Saul had nothing to do whether fifth stimulus would pass or not. Congress determines whether fifth stimulus passes. It also has nothing to do with whether fifth stimulus would be paid, how it would be paid. Here's what you need to know, is that the president thought that he had constitutional authority to fire Commissioner Saul because of a prior Supreme Court ruling when the President Biden fired someone recently. Commissioner Saul is a lifetime appointee, so it's a term appointee, so he's supposed to be in office despite whoever is the president. And Commissioner Saul says he's showing up to work on Monday and threatening to sue. So we'll see what happens with this one. But fifth stimulus will have another stimulus check. That will be next year. That fifth stimulus check is written by the same people who ran your fourth stimulus check. It would not overlap. Number two, the president, before this announcement about Commissioner Saul, said he was dedicating $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure that your benefits go out on time. This is third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. And also, we know that if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to file a tax return and request it on the tax return. There's an actual line item about this. When we turn to this SSI reform, which we're going to do to right now, understand this is not something that would have come from Commissioner Saul. And in this case, it wasn't even coming from the president. Remember, the president had promised you this reform when running for president and in his transition papers. This is coming from the Congress. And they actually wrote the president saying, you promised this, you are not delivering, so we're doing it. And they can, because remember, they're legislators. They write the recons. So raising the benefits up and similar. How does this work? And what happened on Friday? And what will happen next week that'll impact this as well? Well, first, they're going to raise your benefits up one time under fifth stimulus. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, Social Security, SSA, or multiple benefits. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. And that benchmark will be applied at the end of this year for next year's benefits. Now, we were always told that inflation is going to go up later this year and reach its highest point in December. In fact, we were told that by Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, who I'm going to still bet on. I'm going to bet on his comments. But on Thursday, the world economies just sort of went upside down as Treasury yields fell 1.25% on Thursday. That's an inflationary number. This was caused by concerns that growth may be over. So are inflationary numbers not going to be as high? Here's my position. I believe that Jay Powell's correct. I think inflation is still going up. I think there was an overreaction on Thursday, but maybe we don't see a big, massive inflation number. Well, we'll still see a good number. Let's take 5%, for example. Your benefits will be raised up. Then they'll apply the benchmark. Let's say it's 5%. Then your benefits will be stepped up 5% next year, but not just next year, a lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Next, they'll remove the asset cap dating back to a 1960s, 80s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. Time to have a stimulus check in your hand and some tacos. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away, and you'll be able to work as you wish. And finally, the marriage penalty will end. Love is going to win, and people will be able to marry. It will not be retroactive, but the benefits would be restored. Viewers like Rob and Sandy would no longer fear the marriage penalty. And that is fifth stimulus. Now, if you're in the live chat and you see people who have purple hawks next to their name emoji, and you're wondering, how did they get that? What is that thing? How do I get one of those? Well, consider joining and becoming a member. The membership link is under the video. It says join. And there's also one in the top of the chat in the description. By becoming a member, you're delivered daily a breakdown of all the money that's in third stimulus. And that's why a lot of these viewers who are members are posting all their wonderful success stories, because they heard me say when third stimulus passed, yeah, you get a $14 stimulus check, but I'll try to get you $14,000. Viewers are getting tens of thousands of dollars from this channel daily because I deliver from me to them daily a breakdown of all the monies that are available in third stimulus for you to get. So consider becoming a member so you can get all this big money. All right, here we go. The final 15 minutes, right on the dot, exactly on the dot as we get into fourth stimulus and the final big push across the board. We're going to go over the vote, the bill, the dates, everything you've been asking, and Chuck's letter. First, Chuck's letter. Let's go over July 4th first. What happened with July 4th? So Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer both categorically have said 1,000 times the final vote on the recon would be by July 4th. Let's understand what that meant. It meant the final vote, not the first vote, by, meaning not later than, July 4th on the recon. Why did it not happen? Because the recon, we learned by that point, was too big. It had roads and bridges in there, and it was not passable. Had they called the vote, it would not have passed. They pulled their Democrats, and they said, no, we're not supporting the recon's too big. Take roads and bridges out. So they took the roads and bridges out, to which I would say, well, you took out the roads and bridges out 2 Wednesdays ago. That was before July 4th weekend. So then why not call the vote then? Because there was enough Democrats that said, no, you have to call the vote on the bipartisan close in time. Remember, we have two items, recon and bipartisan. There's only two ways to pass the recon. Call for a vote before the bipartisan and concurrently with the bipartisan. You cannot call the recon for a vote after the bipartisan. It won't pass. To which I'd say, okay, just call the recon for a vote now and then get to the bipartisan, in a few months from now, like in November. The recon the Democrats have represented is close to finishing written or is finished written. So why not call the vote on the recon now? Enough Democrats came forward and reportedly said, no, they have to be close in time, same few days or same week. Okay, to which I would say, well, isn't the bipartisan ready to be called for a vote? No, it was not, and is still not ready to be called for a vote. What's going on? What's going on is the following. They haven't written it enough or written it. Here's what's going on. Shelley Moore Capito met with the President of the United States for the month of June to negotiate for the bipartisan. When she met, she didn't bring a bill. In fact, she didn't bring a piece of paper. I don't even know she owns a pen. And then when those negotiations fell apart, the president met with the bipartisan group, which ultimately agreed upon the split 2 Wednesdays ago. But no one brought in a bill that day either. No one brought in a written agreement or a proposal. And maybe they don't own paper or pen either. And since there was nothing written, to which I would then say, well, that was 2 Wednesdays ago and a half. So that's 2.5 weeks ago, at least at this point. What have you done since then? And that brings us to where we are now. Because the bipartisan has not been written to a finality, they cannot call the vote on the recon. In essence, roads and bridges that have been crumbling for 50 years and can certainly crumble for another 4 more weeks are holding up money's checks to the American people who are crumbling, who need the money to go out right now. American people can't crumble, the bridges can, and that's not sufficient. Hashtag write the bill. Hashtag write the bill. It's important to understand that this is 2020 all over again, where Democrats and Republicans are both guilty of not writing fast enough. Remember, these legislators, they are paid salaries of our taxes to write bills. That's all they're there to do, is to write bills and vote. Write and vote. Write and vote. If it takes you 2.5 weeks to write something you should have been writing the month before, then something's wrong, and that is not sufficient. So you need to push Purple Power, write the bill. Number 2. July 4th, July 15th, July 14th. I love my viewers. They all know that July 14th and July 15th has nothing to do with fourth stimulus. Fourth stimulus has nothing to do with July 14th and July 15th. What are those dates? July 14th and July 15th are checks for the children under third stimulus. Number 3. What did Chuck say on Friday? Chuck said, I'm going to keep you all in town and work a little bit longer. Now, I'm not covering too much of his comments. Why? Because his comments are sort of vague. He basically says, get ready to work more. He doesn't say you are ordered to stay in town and work more or anything like that. He doesn't give dates. He doesn't say what they're going to do. He just says, get ready to work more. What I do like about that comment, however, is the following, is that he's not talking about the vote, he's talking about the work, which is great news. Remember, under the Constitution, the president, the leader of the Senate, and the leader of the House, as I've reported over the last 3 weeks, had the authority under the Constitution to call a vote within 24 hours notice. They can call a vote. I don't care where anyone is located. They have to fly back into town and they have to call and they have to vote. But what Schumer did on Friday, I like, because it goes a step a little bit further. He's not saying get ready to vote. He's just getting ready to stay in town and finish this so we can call a vote, which I like. But it's a little bit vague at this point. So it's not one of those things that I want to go over and over on. And I know that some people saw those comments and absolutely want me to talk them to death. And there's not a lot to talk about with it because it is vaguely phrased at the moment. And no one likes vagueness. Next, here is something very important for you to know, which is the bill itself. Sometimes I put this early in the video, but I want to put it here. It's important to understand that some people who are not viewers are very confused about how bills are written. And they think that unless they see an H for House or an S for Senate and it's on the internet, nothing has been written. That's not how Congress works. Subcommittees of the House and subcommittees of the Senate are the people who write legislation. And when they write the legislation and when it's done, they don't have to show it to you. And if they're modifying it, they don't have to show it to you. If they're they're voting on it, they don't have to show it to you. And when they're done, they're done. And if you have, let's say, 10 subcommittees in the House and they've all finished the 10 parts of the big bill, it's done. Do you see it? No. Do I see it? No. And so some people who are very confused who have been sliding into the comments, I don't think I would call them a troll, but I would call them sort of a confused person, are saying nothing has been written yet. That's not true. Because just because you don't see something on the Senate floor or the House floor, don't mean it's not written. It's just not combined yet for a vote. The second part of this, which I've seen some confusing comments, is some people think that the House floor or the Senate floor writes a bill. They don't write the bill on the Senate floor or the House floor. They write in the subcommittee. And yeah, it's unfortunate. There's not a lot of transparency in government, but they have no constitutional requirement to show you all these things. So that's what's important for you to understand. Next, the voting process. The voting process is very important to understand. And I'm bringing back the voting discussion into the videos because there's a lot of people who are sort of passing through saying, what date is the vote? We got 3 bills. Oh, okay. So they just voted in 3 days. No, this is a democracy. The way the Constitution works is any bill has to be approved by the House, the Senate, and the President. Okay, so that's, 3 times. Well, how many days is that? Here's the issue, is you have 3 bills. 3 bills? Yeah, you have the recon procedural, recon substantive, and the bipartisan that need to be voted on. It's not one vote. The vote. There is no the vote. It's the votes, or I know it's expressional, the vote, but it's not one vote on one day. So how many votes is that? Or how many steps is that? Well, it's 12 steps. 12 steps? Yeah, it's 12 steps, but not necessarily 12 days. 4 steps repeated 3 times. Senate subcommittee, Senate floor. House, President, times 4. And there you go, 12 steps. Which brings us then to the final part of this video, which is that with subcommittees working on language, they can add things in at any time. So if you're watching this video, you absolutely cannot be a donut guy and just say, when am I getting my stimulus check? You need to push. You've been doing a great job on social media, the pushing for Purple Power. You need to push more. Keep on pushing. You need to ensure that they keep their promise and keep the stimulus checks in there. You need to ensure that they don't take them out. You need to keep their push and have them keep their promise that they put those stimulus checks in there and keep them in there. Also, if you believe that they should have unemployment assistance in there, push. The economic data working in your favor. When you have opportunities, you need to take those opportunities. And last week, the economic data was horrible. And as economic data gets bad, you need to use it for your advantage. If you think you're entitled to unemployment benefits, mortgage assistance, student loan debt forgiveness, rent eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, then push. Next week, we're going to have a very big week of economic data. Why is this big? Because two things could happen. One, corporate earnings start next week, and corporate earnings will signal where corporate earnings are going to go over the next few weeks. So they're going to hear this. Congress sees this, the president sees this, everyone sees this. If the numbers are bad, the numbers help us. If the numbers are good, there's always a naysayer saying, oh, well, that company did really well in corporate earnings. That means we're really robust. We don't really need stimulus. So you have to be prepared for the pushback if the numbers are good. And what are the numbers? On Tuesday, PepsiCo, JP Morgan Chase, and Goldman Sachs report earnings. Jim Cramer says about Pepsi, he thinks that they'll give us great numbers on Tuesday, but they'll also have to talk about the raw costs going up, especially freight. That could signal a downturn. Then in the middle of the week, we have the banks like Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, and then Delta. Cramer says of Delta, I want to know how much damage the Delta COVID strain is doing to Delta, and we need to know if business travelers are finally coming back. I want to know that as well. If business travel is not back, that's a big reason for more stimulus. Then BlackRock, United Health, Alcoa, and First Horizon's Kansas City Southern report later in the week. It's important for you to know that all this data works in favor of you sometimes and sometimes against you, because ultimately, this is just like 2020. When economic data was coming in and it was really bad, people said, no, people are needing unemployment assistance and you need to put it in there. Finally, it's important to know that for purposes of timeline, for purposes of drafting, it's easy to get this stuff into the recon. If we wanted to, let's say, extend or reactivate an unemployment program like FPUC, it would only need a sentence or two, because there currently is a law written in 2020 called CARES Act 1, and in there had FPUC established. They don't have to rewrite the law. All they have to say is, as to FPUC of CARES Act 2020, we reactivate it for 6 more weeks from this date to that date, for example. If it has been deactivated. If it's currently active and they want to extend it, as to this act, we extend it for another 8 weeks. Done. It's one sentence, it's done. It's very easy. So that's why you have to push. Go on social media and push Purple Power. Push, 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 because ultimately they want to hear from you. Call your elected senators and contact them and say why you need this big money. And with that, I look forward to seeing you next on Morning's Crypto. Big live show coming up right after this video. And then we go into noontime at 11 a.m. Stay informed, stay focused. First, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Thank you for all the wonderful love. And I'm going to have a lot of big programming for you across the board today. Like this video, 2,000 likes. And also consider becoming a member so you learn about all that big money you can get. This afternoon's LALATE with new shows this afternoon and evenings LALATE as well. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LALATE.